So this technique is designed to add value, leverage your buyers to get listings, and to double dip more transactions. So let's just start off. Most realtors, I feel this, are typically overpaid door openers. And what I mean by that is our industry has changed and we have lost a lot of our value. And so what happens is a buyer sees a property on Zillow or some other sites, and they call their real estate agent and they say, "Can I see this house?" And the real estate agent opens the door. See, we need to help buyers find houses not only from what's listed, but also from off-market houses to add a value. So let's just start off with, if I was speaking to a buyer, I would say, how's it been going for the last couple of months? Well, I've went around, I haven't seen much, but when I do see a house, the house sells very quickly and it has multiple offers on that property. Well, can I share with you what I do that my clients appreciate that is different from other real estate agents? And by the way, watch the language that I just used. Can I share with you what I do that my clients appreciate that is different from other real estate agents? So I had two embedded commands there. And they say, sure. I say, well, obviously you like Deer Creek. That's the area that we're in right now. And here's the thing. If I found you a house that matches what you're looking for in Deer Creek, would you be interested in purchasing that? And they'd say, of course. So what we do is we do a lot of things, but we're going to call everybody in Deer Creek, talk to every owner and ask them if they have any interest in selling and tell them that we have a buyer looking for a house. We door knock and we mail, but here's the point. I try to bring two or three houses that are coming to the market, people that are interested in selling, to the people I'm working with before anybody else gets to see that. If I could find you a couple houses, would you be interested in seeing that? And of course, the answer is yes. See, this is a value proposition. And quite frankly, it's part of the playbook. So here's the playbook that I would do anytime that I have a buyer. And then there's 8 steps to this playbook. And the first one is I would look for expired listings. So now think about this. In the MLS, you already have it set up current 3-bedroom, 2-bath, ranch style house, 2-car garage, big backyard. You have the search criteria set up. And all we have to do is change that search criteria and just make it expired. I usually go back 5 years. So I would go back 5 years and then I click the history button. And it'll say this one is sold, this one's sold, this one's pending, this one's sold, this one is current. Well, this one is still expired. And see, I'm going to reach out to that individual that owns that house, and I'm going to have one of the easiest conversations you'll ever have in real estate. Ring, ring, and they say hi, and I say, my name is Dave Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. Wonder if I could ask you a quick question. They say, sure, go ahead. I say, well, I have a buyer that's looking for a house just like yours. I noticed that you had your house on the market 2 years ago, and I'm wondering if you still had an interest in selling your home. And they said, well, you have a buyer? And I said, I do have a buyer. Are you interested in selling? And I try to match the two together. Now let's look what happens here. When I show that house, the worst case scenario is the buyer loves it, and I'm probably going to make more money because I'm going to get a listing and buyer side. See, they already had it listed on the MLS, and they're willing to pay both sides of the commission, most likely. So I'm going to make more income on that. My buyer's going to think that I'm a hero, obviously, because I found a house that they didn't have access to. But the best case scenario is the buyer actually doesn't like the house. See, what I'm going to probably get here is I'm going to get a listing. Their own agent never showed the house, most likely, when it was actually listed. And the house has been off the market for a while. And I'm coming to them and saying, hey, I have a buyer looking. I am probably going to be listing that house. And then I still have a buyer that I can still work with. So either way, I'm great with the results of this. And see, the second thing that I'm going to do is call for sale by owners. And it's almost the same play. It's the same conversation, wondering if I could show your house. Are you cooperating with real estate agents? Typically, I'm not going to get both sides of the commission here because they're only going to offer one side, the for sale by owners. But what I do is I satisfy my buyer. Obviously, I'm adding a value, but I'm also shortening the amount of time that I spend with any given buyer, because if a buyer's out looking for a house for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I'm showing more and more property. Here I can get it done in the first week, and that's the efficiency. So I do expireds first, I do for sale by owners second, and the third one is I'm going to do is geo-calling. I'm going to call a neighborhood. I'm going to ask everybody if they have an interest in selling it. I'm going to mail the neighborhood, And then I'm also potentially going to door knock the neighborhood. So we have expireds, for sale by owners, geo-calling, geo-mail, and geo-doors. Okay, so the next one here is the 10-year plan. And what we're going to do with the 10-year plan is I already have it active in the MLS, and we're going to change it to expired when we did the expired, but now we're going to change it to sold, and we're going to go back 10 years. And everything that shows up is a house that matches what they're looking for that has sold within the last 10 years. And I'm literally going to go through and look at the pictures. And I'm going to call individuals, and it's going to be a very specific call. Do you own the house on Henry and Smith? And I'm wondering if you had an interest in selling that house. And they say, potentially, yes. Well, I have a buyer looking for a house just like that. And I'm wondering if you would allow me to show your house if you have an interest in selling your house. It takes about 10 to 20 contacts and you double dip a transaction. The next one, number 7, is where we're actually going to work our database. See, I think real estate agents have a tendency of bragging a lot. We talk about, hey, this is pending, this is sold, this is pending, this is sold, this is pending, this is sold, and so on. If we change what we send to our clients, if we change what we're communicating with, I have somebody looking for a house like this. Do you happen to know anyone that has that property? If we're constantly showing our database that we constantly have buyers that we're working with, guess what? When somebody's interested in selling, they're going to say, hey, give Dave Thompson a call because he always has buyers. But also, in addition to that, it does create phone calls. Yes, my sister has a house like that she's in that neighborhood, be interested, or the person themselves. If you're a team leader, if you figure that each one of your agents have 150 people in their database and you have 20 agents, you would have 3,000 people that you're constantly emailing that you have buyers looking for and wondering if they have an interest. Now, the last technique, and this is number 8, and we've had expireds, for sale by owners, geo calls, geo mails, geo doors. We've done the 10 years, and now we have done the database. And the 8th step to the buyer SOP is YouTube advertising. So I'm going to run an ad in that 5-second skippable ad space and think about it. When's the last time that you've seen a real estate agent in that first 5 seconds? You probably haven't. And I'm going to run an ad such as this. Hi, my name is David Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. And the reason why you're seeing this video is because we have a buyer that's looking in the Deer Creek area. And there's not a lot of houses in the Deer Creek area. So if you happen to own a house or know someone that owns a house that is thinking about selling it, we could actually bring a buyer together and have them take a look at your house. See, we're a lot different than most real estate companies. We put buyers and sellers together every single day. So if you have somebody that's interested in potentially selling, or even yourself, give me a call. My phone number is such and such. My name is David Thompson with such and such real estate company. That is a wonderful play. I think if you had 5 or 6 of those ads running all around your city. Here is the 8th step buyer SOP. I'm going to call expireds. I'm going to call for sale by owners. I'm going to geo call. I'm going to geo mail. I'm going to geo-door. I'm going to do 10 years of sold properties, and then I'm going to do my database. And the bonus one, number 8, would be doing some type of geographic advertising around that buyer. Now think about it. If you did this with every single buyer, would you be adding more value to the buyers that you're working with? Of course you would. Would you be double dipping transactions? Yes, I'm going to bring my buyer to this house, and often they're going to like it, and I'm going to write both sides of that transaction. And would we be leveraging our buyers to get listings? Absolutely, 100%, because sometimes the buyer doesn't like the house, and therefore I know that the homeowner is interested in selling their property. This is the 8-step buyer SOP. This is how I would be prospecting every single day, is I'd be prospecting with the intentions of finding a seller for the buyers that I'm working with. Thanks for watching. This is David Thompson. David Thompson 360 podcast can be found at any of your podcast players or at davidthompson360.com.